It's Karri Flatlaw here for Friday Fire, Remax Real Estate Lethbridge and KarriFlatlaw.com. So I want to talk to you about how to price your home for maximum impact in any market. And unicorns and rainbows need not apply, because I don't do unicorns and rainbows when we're listing and selling your home. So there's three components to pricing, and I go through this process with every single homeowner before we put their home on the market. And sometimes, depending on the outcome of this process, they may decide that it is not the right time to sell their home, and that's perfectly okay. That's why we go through this process. And I'm not going to just tell you a number that you want to hear so I can get your house on the market and collect buyer leads off of it while you sit in a home waiting for people to ask to see it. And they won't if it's overpriced. So three steps to the process. The first thing that we always look at is what I call the broader macroeconomic market. So this is what we have truly no control over. What is going on in the Lethbridge real estate market in terms of supply and demand, or what some people will call absorption rates. So we want to see how much inventory is available in that broad price range. So say, for example, you have a home and usually we know right away before we do even any homework that you fall into a certain range, right? I mean, everybody watches the MLS. Good realtors have a sense of where a home falls into the market. So let's say, for example, we're pretty sure that your home falls into the 250 to 300 or the 300 to 350 or you know, that kind of thing. So we look at the market in that price range and we say, how many houses are available right now in that price range in, for example, South Lethbridge? Because generally people will know which part of Lethbridge they're shopping in. And we have really three submarkets in Lethbridge, Northwest and South. So, 300 to 350 South Lethbridge, for example. And then we say, okay, there's this many houses on the market. Then we look at how many days on market for those homes on average. Now you've got a really good idea of what a buyer is seeing when they go on the MLS and are searching and browsing homes, right? We want to look at the market through a buyer's eyes. It's hard to do when you're a homeowner, and this is how you can get a really objective look at the market because the numbers don't lie. Then we look at how many homes have sold in the last 3 months, because I always like to do rolling averages because the last 30 days may be an anomaly and it's not going to give us a good idea of trend. So how many homes have sold in South Lethbridge? $300,000 to $350,000. Then we look at how many days on market the sold homes were. Now, if there's a big discrepancy between active unsold listings, days on market, and sold properties, days on market, that tells us a bit of a story too. So from those numbers, we can learn the dynamic of the market in terms of supply and demand, because we can see how many homes are selling every month in that price point, in that submarket, versus how many homes are on the market. Now we can determine how many months inventory are available to anybody shopping in that submarket. That gives us a really good idea now if we're operating in a buyer's market, a seller's market, or a balanced market. Now we know what the buyers are seeing. Then we can start to drill down from there because we have context now for the market. And the next thing that I do, step 2, is what is available on the market that is similar to your property in terms of the specs, right? So square footage, the style of the home, bungalow versus 2-story, very different pricing, very different functionality. The age of the home is very important, and the current state of the home, the quality and condition of the home. So we look at all of those things and we try to find some homes that if I was a buyer, I would look at those homes on the same day I would look at your home, and I would try to compare. The reason we do this is not so much to get an exact price, because those are unsold listings. They may not sell for that price. And that's one thing that's very misleading to homeowners is they spend so much time browsing the MLS, but all you're seeing is the asking price. You're not seeing the full story. So, I had a homeowner say, well, that house across the lake sold for this much money last year, so my house should sell for that too. But sure enough, you pull up the historical MLS record and that home sold for far less than what the asking price was. Or maybe it went off the market completely and they didn't even sell. So that's why it's really important to get the facts about sale prices. But one interesting exercise, if you can't find good comparables for a home, and we have this challenge sometimes with older homes, if you look at the unsold listings in your price range, you have to say, what is the most what is the most home I can get for this money, right? So if you want to price your home at $350 and it's 30 years old, and I can go to the next subdivision over and I can get something that's 10 years old with comparable functionality and quality for the same price. If I'm a buyer, why would I choose your home over this home that's newer and has the same functionality? Okay, so you have to sort of look at through the buyer's eyes, what kind of choices do they have available to them? Because they have a lot to choose from in this market right now. It is a buyer's market for the most part in Lethbridge. Okay, so look at what's out there, look at what your competition is, drill down and find 3 or 4 or 5 homes that a buyer might look at right alongside your home in one afternoon. And then buyers will start to compare features and benefits, pricing, all those kinds of things, right? Then the third part of the process is we're going to look at what has actually sold that is similar to your home in terms of location, quality, age, all of those things. And size is important. And then we start to make adjustments. So if we find a similar home to yours that has sold, say, hopefully in the last 6 months, because we like to have the most recent sales possible, maybe that home has a super upgraded kitchen. Maybe that home is backing onto a park with a view. We have to adjust for that pricing. You cannot expect a buyer to pay the same price for your home if the other home has everything your home has plus a view, for example. So you have to be really, really realistic. Now, if your home has better features and some really special benefits to the location or something like that, then maybe we will say that your home is worth a little bit more. And we have to start making we have to start quantifying those differences in value. And again, you have to do it through the buyer's eyes. And this is the hardest part for homeowners because they might have made some improvements to the home or some maintenance to the home that a buyer is not going to necessarily put the same dollar value on. So you might have added an air conditioner for $4,000, or you might have replaced the furnace for $4,000, or you might have replaced the roof for $10,000. That's not necessarily going to give you $10,000 back on your home. Because when a buyer looks at a home, quite frankly, they expect the furnace to work. They expect the roof to be in good condition. They're not going to necessarily pay you extra unless they're comparing your home to a fixer-upper, which is going to be valued for way less anyway. So those are the 3 components we always look at, is the macro market in terms of supply and demand, what's available to the buyer versus how quickly homes are selling. Then we look at your competition, which are other homes on the market that are similar to yours. And then we look at what's actually sold. What do those people get for their homes and why in comparison to what your home has to offer? They can be tough conversations. I'm never afraid of those tough conversations. I'm never going to tell you what you want to hear just so I can get your listing. We will be very upfront. But the great thing about doing it this way is I'm working through the pricing with you as the client rather than me saying or claiming that I can dictate a price to you. If I could predict the exact price that homes were going to sell for, I would be an incredibly wealthy individual and probably wouldn't be selling real estate. It's like interest rates. Nobody can predict exactly what's going to happen. But what we can do is we can make a very informed, educated opinion about where your home fits into the market, how to position your home in the market, and then we go from there. There's many more steps to the process in getting your house ready for the market, and we'll talk about that in future editions of Friday Fire. If you have any questions, you can always find me here on Facebook, karriflatlaw.com. 3827335 is my cell. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.